Hi, today we're going to take a look at graphing a system of inequalities. A system means you have more than one problem. Here we have two, and we're going to put them on the same graph, same coordinate plane. We're looking to see where they overlap. And since we have inequalities, we're going to see where the shaded regions overlap each other. Now, both these problems are written in standard form. Just for graphing purposes, sometimes I find it easier if they're in slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b form. So let's switch these around and try and get them to say y equals. So first one, I have 3x plus y less than -5. I would like to get y alone. So what's stopping it? This 3x. We're going to say minus 3x, goodbye, y less than 3x minus 5. That's one thing that we want to look for. Second one, we're going to say 3x minus y greater than or equal to 2. To get y alone, we move that 3x again, but we have to be very careful because we are left with minus y. We don't want to forget that negative sign. Y is not alone here, and because we're dealing with an inequality, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, this inequality has to flip. In order to get this alone, we could divide everything by a -1. When we do that, you get y, you get a positive 3x, you get a -2, but that inequality symbol has to flip. Now, we have our two problems. Let's graph both of these inequalities. We're going to put them on one thing here. So we have our y-intercept is -5, so find our graph, find -5. There's your starting point. We then need to move using our slope. -3, we're going to put that over a fraction, say -3/1. That fraction tells us an up and down. It tells us a left and right. So we're going to go down 3 spots. Wow, we're way off our graph, and over 1. That's okay, because if you go off your graph, you're always allowed to go in reverse. Suggestion, still do that movement even if you're off of it. Now let's do the reverse. Instead of going down, let's go up 3. And instead of going to the right one, let's go to the left one. Now, do those 3 lines line up with each other? They do. So even though this is off the graph, it kind of just gives us a direction. That's going to be a dashed line. Perfect. Let's shade. Pick a point, any point. I like 0, 0, x and a y. Let's substitute that back into the problem. I don't care if you substitute it back here or back into the original. You're going to get the same answer. I'm going to take them and plug them back into the original. So 3 times 0 plus 0 less than -5. Is 0 smaller than a -5? No, that statement doesn't make sense. That's wrong. That's wrong. So we're going to shade everything over this way, because you have either one of two answers. It's either going to be right or it's going to be wrong. You're going to shade, you're not going to shade. It's true, it's false. In this case, that's false. This side has to be true. Second one, we're going to start with -2. We're going to move using our slope. Our slope is 3 over 1. We're going to go up 3 spots over 1. We have an equal sign, so you're going to have a solid line. Pick a point, any point that's not on that blue solid line. In this case, I'm going to try 0, 0 again. Let's take that 0, 0 and let's plug it in here. Again, I'm going to go back to the original. Why? Just because, I don't know, I like having zeros all on one side. It just makes it a little easier for me. So I'm going to say 3 times 0 minus 0 greater than 2. Is 0 bigger than a 2? No, that statement does not make sense. Since that's wrong, that means this is wrong. And if we're not shading on that side, we're shading on this side. Okay, so now if I start shading over here, I don't have both areas being shaded right in this portion. But the second that I come down here, I have both my green line and my blue line. So what are my answers? My answer is going to be everything in this a little area right there. So again, what's the answer to a system? A system is where we have a shaded region that overlaps. Our overlap is right here. If you happen to say, what's a coordinate? That is a solution. That is inside the shaded regions. That is inside the shaded regions. This is in only one side of the shaded region. We don't want that. If it's on the dashed line, not good, because that dashed line says it's everything creeping up to it but never touching it. If we say a solution that's on the line, yes, the line is included in being colored in. And that is graphing a system of inequalities.